Hey everybody, welcome to the Dynasty United Thursday afternoon team call. Let's see. There we go. Guys, welcome to the team call. I am Brittany, the proud founder of Dynasty United. I am so excited to introduce my friend, my coach, one of my top leaders, one of the top leaders in all of Dynasty United, one of the top leaders in all of Beachbody. Miranda is going to talk with us today about leaving the drift and start living forward. So she's going to tell you about a conference that she just went through. She's just learning and always soaking up basically how can she be a better mom, person, coach, leader, all around, just completely invested in personal development. So I'm very excited to soak up this 30 minutes with you guys because it's going to be super valuable. Not just in our businesses, but I think probably in life. And so you guys, Miranda is a 2015 Premier Coach. She's a 2-star diamond. She's the founder of her team, StrongHER United. She is a challenge winner. So she's a coach that always prioritizes results. Her and I did 21 Day Fix Extreme together for the first time when it launched. So that was pretty fun to do together. And then she was also a 22-minute hardcore test group participant with Lindsay and Sarah. She is a holistic nutritionist and personal trainer and just completely dedicated to her team and to her son, Aiden. So you guys, I'm excited for today. I can't wait to kind of soak up 30 minutes of personal development with Miranda. So if you don't have a notebook already, make sure that you have one because I'm sure this is going to be a kick butt team call. So you guys, Miranda, I'm just going to switch it on over to you so that you have as much time as possible. But I just wanted to tell you guys, we are kind of gearing up for middle of May, which is just crazy, right? It's getting ready to be summer. We're getting ready. You're going to see a lot more about Summit. So there's just all this momentum building in the network, building kind of in this season of the year. So just tap into that. Opportunity that all of us have to help people every single month, to help our families every single month, and to help other families. So don't be shy, be bold, put yourself in the area of most potential. So for me, that means plugging into personal development every single day, whether it's audio. You guys hear me talk about the 10X rule probably on a daily basis, but whether it's audio or YouTube or books, Miranda will tell you she listens to personal development during a workout. Whatever you've got to do to get your mind right, that's going to be your secret weapon in this business. So Miranda, thank you for all you did to prepare for this team call. Thank you for your willingness to share and for the leader that you are to your team and just to Dynasty United as a whole. I love and appreciate you so much. So I'm going to turn it over to you, and I cannot wait.
So can everybody hear me? I'm looking at the chat box to make sure. Hear, see me. Yay. Okay. Woo. Yay. Okay. So like Britt said, personal development is super, super important to me. My life is completely different because of it. And so anytime I harp on it a lot, my team will tell you, they come to me with anything and I'm like, personal development. Go check out this book. Go look up this video. Go check out this podcast. It really is a huge part of my life. And so that being said, I just came back from an event, not beach related at all. It was in Vegas. A friend invited me and it was really cool. It was business development, but also personal development. And it was really cool to get different perspective, meet people outside of the industry. So if you've ever had any of that in your area or even a 5-hour drive, I drove 5 hours to Vegas, go and really soak it all in. It was like a mini summit. It was like almost like a wannabe summit, but super awesome. And it gave me a perspective about how incredible Beachbody is, because the things that they were offering y'all, 10 grand in coaching are things that we get already in this business, from corporate mentorship to Brittany's leadership to Lindsay's leadership to all these coaches that just pour out all this info to us. They were offering it at like a $10,000 value. So it's just insane. So what we have, I mean, don't take it for granted because it's incredible. But one thing I pulled, especially right now in this business, y'all, is this time of year, it can be easy to start drifting. If any of you have been snorkeling, scuba diving, even just floating on tubes, you know what I'm talking about when I talk about drifting. It's so easy especially snorkeling, I'll put my head down and I'll just be floating, or I'll dive down to check out some fish. And all of a sudden you're like a mile from the boat, and you're like, holy crap, I now have to swim like a mile to get back. And you're kind of like legitimately freaking out because you're in the middle of the ocean and you've got to swim back. I think, I mean, it happens in life. It happens in business. We don't just wake up and say, you know what, I feel like being 10 pounds heavier today. And all of a sudden it happens. You don't wake up and say, you know what, I feel like dropping rank today. And it happens. It happens over a course of just letting go. And it's little decisions that bring you to this point. And before you know it, you've dropped rank. Before you know it, you're starting from scratch. Before you know it, you're back to your before picture of the day you started, and you have to work extra hard to make it happen. And I thought this was a great time to talk about a topic like this and even have it come up at this conference, because, you know, right now, January, February, March, especially if you were here, you know, the year before, is that you felt that compound effect, and things are awesome. Your team is growing. People are ready to start their journey. And so it's easy to just slow down for a second, be like, okay, I can relax for a second. But before you know it, it's September, August, September, October, these harder months for people to invest in their health. And now you're freaking out because you're a mile from the boat and you have to work extra hard to make your comeback, to make your goals, your success club, your vision happen. So I wanted to bring this up because you know, when you talk about the what, let's talk about making a plan, let's create our vision, let's refocus and dig our feet in and like, let's go. Because when you get clear on the what, that's when the how starts showing up. That's when what you need to do becomes more clear. And so I'm going to go over 3 questions to kind of ask yourself to really refocus. Yeah, crunch time. Refocus and get ready to just make your business incredible this year, because it's not too late. Whether you're a brand new coach or you're a veteran coach, it's not too late to set goals now for Premier, for Elite, for whatever you're going for, and really dig in and go for it. So I'm going to go ahead and screen share. So I can't see the chat box, but I'll look through it after I'm done real quick too. Make sure. So yes, the call is about leaving that behind, y'all, and looking up forward to our goals. Start living forward. You know how I am about being intentional. And because we never drift to a destination that we would have chosen. You don't get to where you want to be. You don't wake up and all of a sudden you're Premier, you're Elite. You got to set these goals, and then you got to dig in. You got to figure out, ask yourself these questions, and then you make it happen. So the first question is, how do you want to be remembered? So that being said, you start with the end in mind. It's a weird thing to think of, but think of yourself, act as if you were an invisible guest at your own funeral. What would you want people to say about you? What would you want them to remember about you? That's what you want to do. Like when you think of that, when you're nourishing these relationships, when you're building these relationships in business, do you want them to remember you as a coach who just sold them a challenge pack and then it collected dust because they didn't have any support and love and encouragement from you? Or do you want them to remember you as someone who really made a positive impact? You're with them from day one. You encouraged them. You made them see things that they never saw in themselves, and you helped them believe in themselves to the point where they not only reach their weight loss goals, but they're stronger mentally and physically. Their life is better. Their family life is better. Their relationships, their job, everything is better because you took the time and you took the effort and to build their relationship, to be with them every step of the way. And I think of that every time I interact with people. I don't just go in for a sale. I go in to really get to know them and how I can help them and see what ways I can encourage them to really impact their life. And when they come back with, I realized something today, and they have these aha moments that turn into action moments, it's so cool to be a part of that. Same with my family. You know, how do I want Aiden to remember me? How do I want my parents to remember me? My team? What do I want them to say? And this isn't with like a selfish, mindset. It's really because you're creating a legacy. And that's what, I talk about this in this business because I'm never really about rank and about points. I'm always about people And in doing that, it's like you create a legacy. That's something that you leave behind. We make an impact right now, but your legacy lasts. It's what people remember you for. Think of anybody that you've lost in your life. There's things that you remember about them, and that's their legacy. That's something they left with you that can never be taken away. And that's what I think of. So you want to create legacy statements. When you're answering this question, you want to create legacy statements. And I have some examples here. How do I want Aiden to remember me? I want him to remember how I loved him, understood him, how I listened to his heart, and never let him feel like he couldn't go after any dreams. So there's way more to that. I have some written down. But I want him to remember that I worked hard to provide a life that he could live with me, and I was present in his life, just things like that. How do I want him to remember me? And now when I think of that, I remember that when in daily life, like if he does something that I want to discipline him for, I make sure that it's not in a state of anger. I want to make sure that I'm listening to him, that I'm, providing him with the love and understanding that he needs, as well as a learning lesson in the end. Because I don't want him to remember me as angry mommy. I want him to remember me as mom that disciplined him and cared about him, but also helped him learn lessons in life. My team, I want them to remember my heart and passion for this success. I want them to thrive in an environment created to breed more success toward their goals. I want to create a culture that breeds success, like Brittany has, like Lindsay has, like so many coaches have, something that I strive for. And I want them to remember that I was in this for them because I am. And so I want that feeling. So when I go into every day, when I go into trainings and team calls, and even just making the team calendar, I want to have it, have these events and things that we do and we have as a team breed success. And so these legacy statements help you remember that. And when you repeat them day in and day out, it's in your subconscious, and your actions lead up to this really being really happening, being reality. Challengers, I want them to remember my authenticity and passion for helping them find health, confidence, and love for themselves through health and fitness. My team name StrongHER is healthy, empowered, renewed. And so in that, and is a legacy itself. Like I want people to be healthy. I want them to be renewed. I want them to feel empowered just by being around me and my team, just by being part of our challenge groups, being part of our team culture. I want that to be part of the legacy that's left behind from my team. And that's important to me. So I want you guys, as you're, write down that question. How do you want to be remembered? And then think of each area of your life. There, obviously I could add my parents, maybe my brothers, and add on to these legacy statements, and I will. But I want you to do the same thing. Think about the important people in your life right now, and then think about how you want to be remembered, and then nourish those relationships so that happens. Next question is, what matters most to you? This is important, you guys, because when you have your priorities set, it gives you courage because you have clarity on what's most important. Because it's so easy, guys. Things, there are urgent and there are important. And sometimes the urgent shows up like it's important, but it's not. Example, there's a story told, a guy went on a trip with his wife. It was much needed. He wanted to go. He couldn't wait. They went skiing, and he decided, for some odd reason, to check his email. There was an email from a board member saying, change of plans. I need to meet with you Monday. It's urgent. You're going to have to come back and cut your trip short. And he's just devastated. He shows his wife. His wife says, you know what, whatever you decide, I'll support you. But luckily, because he had his priorities, because he knew what mattered most to him, because himself and his family were in front of work duties, he was able to say, you know what, my people will be there. They can help you with whatever you need. When he got back, he talked to his people, and they're like, oh, it was a good meeting, but it's something that could have been chatted about over email. So you can imagine, what if he had cut his trip short, disappointed ultimately, even though she supported him, disappointed his wife and himself, didn't fill his cup back up the way that he should have, came back, and had this happen where it could have been talked about over email. But that didn't happen. He knew his priorities, so it gave him the courage to say, you know what, I'm glad that you're ready, you need to meet, but I've got to stay here with my wife. My people will help you out. And that's, in this business, that can happen so much. I know when I first started, it was like I wanted to be there for everybody all the time. My time was not mine. It was everybody else's, because I thought everything was urgent and everything was important. But really that was the opposite. Things that show up, like I said, can show up as urgent, but they're not important. And that's not to say that, you know, what your team needs isn't important, but there are things that they can find for themselves. There are things your challenger can find for themselves. There are things that you want to make sure that you have in place, resources, everything, so that your family, yourself, everything comes before that, and you have your priorities straight, and you have the courage to say, you know what, these are my business hours, you guys. If it's super urgent, like placement, and it needs to be happen right now, even that, you know, guys can wait, because they have, what, 72 hours nowadays? But, you know, I have my faith, myself. People think, you know, it's crazy, how can you put yourself first? But, you know, y'all, if you know that if you have nothing left in your cup, there's nothing left to pour out to others, to give to others. So what are you going to give to your kids and family, and then to your team? So you've got to make sure that you make yourself a priority. And I harp on that with my mamas and my ladies all the time, because society has brainwashed us into thinking that taking care of ourselves is selfish. And that's just not, it's not how I live, and that's not how you should live. So put yourself first, guys, so that you're able to give more to others. And I have kids and family, my little guy, job and career, and then, you know, finances. That's important too, because if without it, you know what, I can't make things happen in our lives. You know, money isn't the most important thing in the world, but it touches everything that is. So it is important to make it a priority of budgeting and everything like that. So it helps you make major life decisions. And with all these issues that can come up with coaching, you want to make sure you have your priorities lined up, so that you have the courage to say no when it's time to say no, and put your family, put yourself, put things first that are more important. Next question is, how do you get from where you are right now to where you want to be? And that sometimes can be a hard question to answer, because one, you've got to be honest. You've got to be honest about where you are. You got to, you know, if you're in a place, you know, where maybe you drop rank, maybe you gain 10, 15 pounds, 20 pounds back, you got to admit where you are. And that can be hard, but you got to be real with yourself. You can't sugarcoat it. You can't say, oh, you know, I did gain 10 pounds, but it's okay, I had fun. Like, no, you gained 10 pounds, you made decisions that you weren't supposed to make, and now you got to reflect on that and decide how you're going to change that moving forward. But first, you want to have an envisioned future statement. So I put an example here for my team. This is a future statement, but you want to say it in present tense. So we are a strong, united team pushing for our goals and team goals together as a unit, thriving as a community and living forward. We are empowering others to live healthy lives and find courage to pursue their dreams. We feel renewed because we are part of something bigger than ourselves, working with our passion and fulfilling our purpose together. So this is a future statement. This is, you know, maybe it's a month down the road we feel this awesome, and we feel this awesome now, but, you know, in the future, I want even more for them. And so I think of these future statements, and I'm able to, when I'm visualizing, I'm able to think of these things. You know, with life, I'm living free, my heart is full, my soul is fulfilled because I'm debt free. I'm able to help my family feel financially stable. I'm able to contribute to my parents' mission so they don't have to worry about support. We live in our dream area, and Aiden goes to an amazing school. He's pursuing his dream of race car driving, and I'm able to go after new hobbies and feed my wanderlust soul by traveling to parts unknown. So, and even in saying that, like, my eyes like sparkle, because I'm like, oh, that's happening. That's going to happen one day. And because of those envision statements, I'm going to work my butt off to get there. I don't want to drift anymore when I hear that. I don't want to drift anymore when I see that, envision that. And I'm going to say it every single day as much as I can until it's part of my subconscious. So when I see myself sitting on the couch, Facebook scrolling, I'm like, oh no, I'm drifting. Get my head out of the water and I start swimming back to that boat, to that goal, to what I'm going after. Does that mean, okay, never have downtime? No, but when it's like work hours, when he's in school, there is no room for Facebook scrolling. There is no room for pity parties. There's no room for any of that, because that's when the drifting starts. And then when he gets home, I'm only going to get further away from that boat, because I don't like to work when he's home. So have those future statements, write them down, and then say them every single day. Shoot, record yourself. That's something you can do on Evernote. Record yourself saying these envision statements if you want to, and then listen to it. Listen to it when you wake up. Listen to it while you work out. Listen to it when you go to sleep, whatever it is. Whatever works for you. If you need to hear it, if you need to say it out loud to yourself, if you need to write it down once a day, Do what you need to do to get that in your subconscious so you never ever stop. So when the drift starts happening, you notice it faster. Instead of being a mile away from that boat and that goal, maybe you're only a few feet and you're able to walk back, you're able to swim back, and you're able to keep going towards your goal. So again, like I said, admit where you are, get real, deep, and honest. Ask your coach to evaluate with you. I do that all the time with Brittany. I'm always like, especially if I'm feeling dry, stale, I'm just like, I am stuck. And sometimes looking from the inside, looking out, you can't really see. You can't see the whole picture of what might be might be causing the drift to happen, might be causing you to have setbacks in your goal. So ask your coach, ask your success partner, if you have a corporate mentor, ask them, because they'll be real with you. And when they are, don't take it personal. It's constructive criticism. But it'll open the door for you to know what you need to work on while you keep moving forward. I mean, I used to do all the time, I'd be like, look at my Facebook profile. Like, am I posting to add value and really to build traction, or am I kind of just posting and nobody's really getting anything out of it? And that's why I haven't heard anything from anybody, or nobody's really open to my invites. And when I did that, she always opened my eyes to what I could change, what I could add, what I could take away. And it always, always helps. So I mean, I still offer that to my team now, but yeah, ask people from the outside to look in and say, you know, if you came to my page, would you be interested in me? If you read this message, would you want to know more? If you sat in my webinar, would you be like, what's the next step? It's okay to ask for outside input, but be ready for the input. Don't take it to heart, and be ready to actually apply it. Don't ask for input and then say, okay, maybe I'll try it. Like, one, that like completely irritates the person that gave you the input. Two, what's the point of taking the time to evaluate and reflect if you're not going to apply it and really make the changes and move forward? You might as well just keep drifting. So admit where you are, ask for outside input, identify the commitments you are willing to make to take you from where you are to where you want to be. Think about your wildly important goals, your WIGs, and then what you'll commit to doing every single day. So if you've listened to my Be Intentional call, or if you haven't, go check it out. It talks about, you know, those activities that you're going to do every day. I feel like this is like the prerequisite for it. You know, if you start drifting, then you need to evaluate. Then you need to go back to like, okay, what are these actions that I need to take? And it'll change. These things will change. Your vision will change. Your future statements will change depending on your life. Maybe you don't have kids yet. Okay, so when you do, your vision statement's going to change. Your legacy statements are going to change, and that's going to continue as you go through life. As you go through different stages in your life, it'll continue to change. But once you have these guys, never, ever, ever stop until you reach them. Never, ever stop. And when you do start drifting, get your head above water and start swimming back towards it. Don't give up. Don't say, okay, I drifted, like somebody come pick me up, I'm done. No, swim, paddle, get your butt back over there, because it's worth it. When I read those envision statements, it's like my eyes sparkle, because I'm like, man, I have to live that. And every single one of you, if I were to read every single one of your statements, my eyes would sparkle, and I'd probably cry, because I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait for you to live that. And I want that for you. I want you to feel that. I want you to have that. So create those statements, guys. Answer these questions. Be real. Dig deep. Make yourself cry if you have to, because that's when it gets legit. That's when it gets real. Just spend a day figuring it out. You know, go through the day, and like maybe you'll see something. Maybe you'll be watching your kids play, and you're like, yeah, that's what I want, something for them. And you'll think of it. Write it down. Create that voice message in Evernote. Whatever you want to do, and use it to direct you. Use it to motivate you. Use it to fuel you. Create your non-negotiables, and never, ever, ever stop until you reach them, because that's what I can't wait to celebrate with you. And if you need me to leave any slides, let me know. I'm gonna stop sharing and get back to this. Oh, let me see the chat box. Britt, were there any questions? I didn't see. Where's it? I don't even know where the chat box is. I lost the chat box. I'll find it. Sorry, I'm trying to get back to the chat box so I can answer any questions. Okay, see, I have the chat box open, so if there's any questions. Oh, yes, Nicolette. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to celebrate that. No doubt you're going to retire that man and y'all are going to be the cutest little family doing things together. Go to personal development for motivation, inspiration. Well, that's a good one. You know what? You Are a Badass was great. Really good. She kind of tells it like it is, and I like that. And then, hold on, I just got a book. And then one of our fellow coaches wrote this, Break Through Your BS, Uncover Your Brain's Blind Spots, and Unleash Your Inner Greatness. And it's really good. He helps you. It's really good. So I think it's on Amazon. He's one of our fellow coaches, and he's like in the hardcore videos, etc. But I like that. There's different podcasts that I listen to, from Lewis Hose to what's his name, Brendan Bouchard. It just depends on what I'm in the mood for and what I need, and I'll find the topic and I'll listen to it. On focus. I'll have to look through my little list of personal development because off the top of my head, I can't think of one about focus. But there is an intentional living book by John C. Maxwell that is really good. I'm glad the call helped you guys. I hope. Yes, and the 10X rule, which is my next book. I'm trying not to have personal development ADD because I can. So I'm like making myself finish books before I hop to the next one. But 10X rule is next. I'm excited about that one. So yeah, y'all get that one. If you don't have anything that you're reading right now, start with 10X rule and then go with what I said. Any other questions? Let's see. I reevaluate maybe every 6 months. I think that's a good timeline because 6 months gives you time to go after these things, these goals, and then you can stop for a second and say, okay, how am I doing? Is there anything that I need to change? I think 6 months is a good timeline, because like I said, you can go over your goals, you can go after them, you'll hit them. And so I feel like the 6 months chunks are good, but it depends on you, whether it's 60 days, 6 months, 1 year. It's really up to you and like what you're comfortable with, but I like 6 months. Any other questions? You're welcome. Thanks for being here, you guys. You're welcome. Okay.